YouTube, what's going on? ZeroMagnumX, and welcome Digimon Tamers and fellow Digidestined. Today I have my blue AncientGarurumon hybrid deck to show off. It was a lot of fun. I got it together at the pre-release because my box is kind of bonkers. If you haven't checked that out, please go do so. It was kind of cool and crazy. I didn't realize when I had opened it that we actually pulled like the Alt Art Lucymon, so this is kind of the tip of the iceberg for it all. Anyway, it let me transition into this deck. This deck was super fun. It did not produce a record because it was not this build. I think this build will give me better results. If there is interest in, you know, tournament report or how I do weekly, please check that out. This is kind of also a bonus video for DigiMondays. We do play and talk and deck craft and all kinds of things on either twitch.tv/DapperDraby. That's Dapper as in how you think you'd spell it, and Draby, D-R-A-B-Y, and or cross-streamed with twitch.tv/SilentWolf145. And then I'm there on voice. I don't really use Twitch that much. I'm more of a content creator like this, but I figured I'd do a little bit of plugs if you want to come by and watch something to entertain yourself. We have fun playing, and more than likely this deck will be featured, and it'll be also the deck that you see played in the Digimon battle video. So I figured, hey, you know what? If you want to know what it looks like, here you are. Kind of a preemptive thing that I'm going to play with. Might be playing it against Shine Greymon because Kitmit's purple deck isn't quite finished yet. No one wanted to part with Lucymon, so we only have the one we pulled. The others are in the mail, so expect more videos coming in the future for purple. Anyway, without further ado, enough yakking. I'm going to get to the deck profile. Sorry for the delay. Alright, first up, we have 4 Bukamon for our Digi-Eggs. The reason I'm using him is because we are going into a Digiburst format, and even though he doesn't really produce a bunch of advantage, he will disadvantage our opponent, and that's pretty sick because the Digi-Eggs in this deck, because you can also use Tamers as a Digivolution source, basically other level 2 Digimon, your Digi-Eggs can be a little more flexible, which is super fun. So for that guy, and then one of the classic Upamon. Next, we have a playset of Strabimon. When played, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. You can add 1 Digimon card with hybrid in its name and or 1 blue Tamer card among them to your hand. Place your remaining cards in the bottom of your deck in any order. This card's nuts and has so many combo plays in this deck. Not only does it set you up and is like a great first turn move, just to like dig for a Tamer if you don't have one or other options, and it's you can also hard play it and you don't really need to digivolve it and you still accrue value. It's kind of like Gabumon and steroids, really. It has a chance to whiff, but being able to get 2 cards off of this, I mean, it's basically Pot of Greed. Like, it's so good sometimes, but still very, very potent. Okay, next up we have the man himself, Vmon. With jamming, he doesn't really need any explanation. He's like the best rookie in the game, arguably, because he just can get in for damage for free. So 4 of him. If you're playing blue, you're probably always playing 4 of this card. Next we have 3 Gabumon, because he draws us a card, but at the same time, only 1 KDP is kind of weak, but that value is there. So this deck wants to secure a bunch of value just to get into its play so it can win the game. 2 regular Vmon, one of our better Digivolve targets. So then our AncientGarurumon eventually will restand. So if this is underneath it, we can just restand and draw a card. more card draw, but it doesn't go off that often as we only have 4 AncientGarurumon targets, so we only have 4 restands, so 2 of. Next up, 2 Electmon just for a cheap target. It's kind of like our additional copies of our Matt Tamer, where it's 2 costs and then we can Digivolve for 2 and keep going, sort of deal. And with Hammerspark and Davis on the field, it's very easy just to go into 4 memory and have that play happen. And then a 1 Lonely Gomamon. I'm not sure what to make this. It originally was a higher count in the deck, and then I realized maybe it's good, maybe it's not. Maybe I'll put like, make these Electmons more of this, so then whenever our hybrid Digimon die because they're smaller, maybe we'll gain some memory that way. I haven't figured out exacts yet because a lot of your Digimon are Digivolving on the Tamers in the deck to finish the game off. So he seemed okay because the way the level 4 lineup is, you'll kind of see why it's okay. Like, I don't know what else to tell you, but I'll figure out what he's going to be eventually. If you have an idea for you, awesome, what works for you. Just the one of Gomamon might come up sometimes. So anyway, playset of Grizzlymon, because we need our blockers. I only ran 3 blockers in the deck at the pre-release, and that's usually how I lost. Had I had like 1 additional blocker, there are very high chances I just would have won my games. The same with this card. I only had like 4 of each of the Lobomons. I did not have Garurumon, and this card is bananas. Not only is it 6k for 3 memory, which is fine, it Digivolves on a Tamer, it bounces your opponent's level 3 Digimon back to their hand. So in the turns that they're like, oh, I'll play, I don't know, this Electmon to memory drain you, and you're like, Hammerspark, play this. Okay, swing, your Electmon goes back to your hand, kill your other thing. You just get a bunch of tempo value out of it. And it also plays well under AncientGarurumon. We run 3 of those because we don't want to flood too much on our champions, but this is more of a champion-focused deck or a level 4 base deck. Next, we have 4 of the promo Lobomon. This card's nuts, by the way. It has 2 amazing effects. The first is when Digivolving, so for the 2, you can then pay an additional memory, and then warp Digivolve into an AncientGarurumon. That is crazy speed for a deck like this. In addition to that, it dies. When AncientGarurumon dies, it lets you play a level 4 or lower hybrid Digimon from your hand. That's Strabimon, the Garurumon, another Lobomon. Really, Garurumon and Strabimon are like your best targets for this because they gain you eventual value over the course of the game. I wish we had actually like a hybrid blocker. That would be incredible. Maybe we'll get one down the road. Hopefully Bandai gives us that, and this deck will only get better. So 4 of this guy. Oh, and the Inheritable. I forgot about that. When Digivolving, it's errated to be this Digimon into an AncientGarurumon, reduce its cost by 2. So your AncientGarurumon also just on a regular Digivolve becomes 3 memory, like most level 6s in the game are. So, and he cannot Digivolve off of Tamers. I wish they'd given them that effect, but they did not. However, he is the best target to Digivolve on top of our standard level 3 Digimon. Our regular Lobomon, this is the bread and butter of the deck. 2 memory with 5k power, and its effect is simple. Just Digivolve on top of one of your Tamers and treat it as a level 3 Digimon. He gets the whole deck kind of going. It's just for those final push turns. Sometimes you just have the 4 memory, lay 2 of these down on your Tamers, and then like eliminate the rest of your opponent's security and swing for game. 5k is a little weak, but it gets the job done. Alright, next up, the only, and you may be surprised by this, the only level 5 we're running in the deck is Beowulfmon, because he can't be attacked, which is incredible, and then he has jamming. So if you have a hybrid or a Tamer as a source underneath him, he just can't be attacked by your opponent's cards. So they have to like hard remove him. They have to use something that nigs him by 7k, and especially if he gets aggressive, they can't Trump Sword him. He's level 5, so he dodges Hell's Gate. Basically, they need like Chimeramon or Guy Force or Kitus Breath to get rid of this card, and then in some cases Terror Cluster, but I don't think that card's being used. He's very difficult to deal with. I mean, Nidhoggmon can get around him, but then you just might want to keep him unsuspended in those cases. So incredible card to say the least. So we run 4 of that guy. And then finally the bread and butter of the deck, the main card, AncientGarurumon. Once per turn, you may unsuspend 2 of your Digimon with Garurumon in their name or hybrid in their forms. On deletion, you can play 1 level 4 or lower blue card, lower Digimon, blue level 4 Digimon with hybrid in its form from your hand without paying its memory cost. So incredible to warp Digivolve and get that value and keep that consistent pace against your opponent. And just attack a million times. Like, this card's nuts. People like Old Force because it attacks a lot, Imperial because it attacks a lot. This automatically swings twice and lets something else swing. That's bananas. Like, I don't know why people aren't looking at this card. And 13k power. So he doesn't really die. And you can play him as early as, like, going into your Lobomon on turn 2, add 3 memory, and just play him turn 2. It's silly how good this card is. We only have 2 of the alt art and then 2 of the regular art, because that's what I acquired at the pre-release. There are people that had the alt art, but I'm like, I don't really want to trade more into it, so it works. And in that way you have both arts, which is kind of cool, because it's really neat, the like realistic artwork, but then it's also cool seeing like the cartoon anime artwork as well. Alright, Tamers. 3 Matt from the starter deck. If they have a Digimon with no source, gain a memory. I cannot tell you how relevant this card was. It was crazy to get us to like 5 memory pretty often. And then 4 Davis because he pluses us. It's really that simple. Like, we just add a blue Digimon to our hand, and then he's a memory tamer. And then finally, to round off the deck, we have 4 Hammer Spark to extend our plays. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this deck profile for AncientGarurumon, who is an incredible addition to the game. And stay tuned for the next video and DigiMonDay. Please come in. You can come into the chat, talk to us. We'd love for you to join. And later, everybody.